Dying in 7 days to die, it's usually not a big deal. You die, you respawn, and you go back to what you were doing. Sometimes it might become annoying because you might lose some of your experience, or if you play with settings like drop everything when you die or lose everything when you die. But most of this can be fixed again, and you can recraft your tools and weapons again. However, what happens when you play a permadeath series? Losing all that progress because of a mistake you made, or because the game puts you in a weird situation that will get you killed, can be very annoying. Well, don't worry, I'm here to help you with that. Hello everyone, I'm Vortex, and in today's video I'm gonna share with you 7 tips that I learned through all my experience that will help you survive for as long as you want in 7 days to die. Before you even start a new playthrough, make sure you already know what weapons you will use. Ideally, you want both melee and ranged weapon from the same class. However, if you do want to use a melee weapon from one class, like the spear, and a ranged weapon from another, like the machine gun, you must reflect on which weapon do you really want to commit first. Using those first 4 skill points for skills that you really want is the first step. Trying to max out 2 different classes at the same time can become a huge ordeal, especially in the first 2 weeks. Eventually, you will get access to all the classes and the skills, and you will be able to mix and max all the weapons. Or, later in the game, you can buy a forgetting elixir and use it to redo all the skills. But the start of the playthrough is the most important, so be mindful of what you want to do. Also, keep an eye on skills like cardio, pain tolerance and iron gut. These are really great skills that you should have at least 1 point into each of them and level them up later in the game. Unless you get really lucky, chances are that for the first 2 weeks playing the game, you will only have access to stone tools. And that can make gathering resources very slow and tedious. So as a rule of thumb, I would say be very stingy with your resources. Don't waste them on things that do not matter. Placing that block on the door and upgrade it to cobblestone just so you can fight a couple of zombies is just not worth it. Every single bit of resources that you can find and save can make the difference between you living or dying during the first horde night. Make sure you gather all the resources that you can find inside POIs. Pallets of cement, cobblestone, sand, wood, they all give more resources than just going around chopping trees or breaking stones with stone tools. While the thought of you going inside a POI, guns blazing in Rambo style can give you that so desired adrenaline and a good feeling, in your first 2 weeks of the playthrough you wouldn't have access to that much ammo. And just like with your resources, you should be very stingy with your ammo and only use it if you really are in a bad situation that might get you killed and you need to save yourself. Otherwise, just save your ammo for the horde night. Another important tip is finding a good place that you can call home, but that can also be used as a horde base. Although you might not like the idea of having both your horde base and home in the same place, it's important not to waste your resources into upgrading 2 different locations at the same time. Instead, choose a place that has some solid walls and good potential to be turned into a horde base and focus on upgrading that. Later on, you can choose a different place to call home and have another place where you can fight during the horde night. Whenever you go inside the POI either for a job or just to loot, make sure you check your surroundings. The last thing you want when you start a job or when you enter a high tier POI is to have a bunch of zombies walking around and potentially coming after you inside the POI and get you trapped there. And even worse than that is when you are inside the POI and the wandering horde comes out to play with you. So make sure to always have an escape plan so you don't get yourself in a bad spot. Another rule of thumb is to make sure you can always get out of the POI so you can have more space for fighting. Having the space to run around and avoid hits is really important. Also, there is no shame into bailing out of a job that you started if you think you get yourself into troubles. Just run away and you can always come back and redo the job another time. 7 days to die has become more complex over the years, with lots of POIs having some sort of traps that will put you in a bad situation and probably get you killed. There are 2 types of traps to my knowledge that the game uses for that. The first one is when the game asks you to drop inside a room without a way for you to get out of there. This one is easy to avoid. Whenever the game forces you to do that, just get out of the POI and choose another path. Maybe destroy a door or a wall and change the pathway that you were supposed to take. The other way to do it is to make sure you craft yourself a way out. Use some ladders and place them in the drop hole so you can get out. The second type, and probably the worst, is the fake floor. The game will make you think that entering a room will be safe, and then the floor breaks and you fall down into a room full of zombies. So far, I only found 2 ways to avoid this trap. The first one is to use a long-range tool like a shovel and hit the floors whenever you enter a room. If the floor has 100 hit points, that's a fake floor. Anything that has over 500 hit points, it's a good floor. The second way is to pay attention to the room. Whenever you enter a room, if it's too quiet and there's no zombies around, there is a high chance that that room is a trap. Also pay attention to the objects around the room. You can jump on tables, on chairs and other stuff in the room. Those will always sit on a real floor and will not break. In conclusion, paying attention to the room you enter is the safest way to avoid any traps. Now, when it comes to Horde Night, if you follow some of the previous tips, there are high chances to survive every Horde Night. Like I mentioned, having a good Horde base with solid walls and a good pathway for the zombies to reach to you is the first step towards winning. Saving your resources so you can stay on top of repairs, it's a must. Saving your ammo throughout the week just for the Horde Night, it's also a must. Also, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a plan B during the Horde Night. Make sure you have 1 or 2 buildings around that you already cleared during your jobs. Cut every pathway that the zombies might use to reach you. Place some ladders on the side of the house so you can jump there, and you sit there and wait through the night and switch places when things go bad. Obviously, only use plan B if for some reason your base is failing or zombies somehow can reach to you through other ways. If you want to learn more about Horde bases and how to build them, make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming videos on that subject. Guys, I hope this video will help you survive for as long as you plan to survive in 7 days to die. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.